So this week we see another $1.9 trillion stimulus package hit the markets, pushing stock prices higher, commodity prices higher, and the US dollar potentially even lower. Which begs the question, where do you put your money as a long-term investor when it comes to alternative investments? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you my top 3. So let's get going. Hey everyone, Tom Gentile. Welcome to Tom's Trading Room, sponsored by Optionetics. Check out all the free goodies that we offer by looking at the links in the description below. And by the way, while you're down there, if you could throw me a like, that would be fantastic. You can smash that like button and also subscribe to these videos, and you'll get them every time they pop up. Okay, let's talk about my top 3 alternative investments for 2021. And for that, we need to go to my screen. And as I do in all my videos, before we get started, I just want to mention this disclaimer on the screen. You can read it in its entirety. All you got to do is hit pause right here. I want to mention 2 quick things before we begin. Number 1, stock and options trading has large potential rewards, but also large potential risk. And number 2, I am not your investment advisor. I'm not an investment advisor, period. I'm an educator here to show you how it is that I spot opportunities and create alternative risk trades other than simply buying and holding. And today's subject, we're talking about alternatives. So my go-to alternatives, well, these have been long hedges against the stock market in the US dollar. 2 of these have been around since the beginning of time, while the third is only 13 years old. So let's get into each. And I'll also talk about how to buy and sell these as well. So the first asset or alternative asset, which is had luster and also rust, has been the precious metal sector. And I'm talking about, let's just start with just gold and silver. And, you know, I do own the physical commodity. I own physical gold. I own physical silver. All right, I own them in terms of coins and in bullion itself. That is one area that you can go to in terms of buying and holding, and easily able to transfer these from one person to another. But if you're looking at trading the gold and silver markets, let me show you 2 charts that you want to key in on. Number 1, this is the Spdr Gold Shares GLD. Now, if you take a look at GLD and let's say you go back 100 days, you're going to see, in fact, this is a 160-day chart, you can see that the highs that occurred, the all-time highs on GLD were at 193.89. That was back in August, as you can see here with the green arrow on the screen. These are Fibonacci levels. Now, Fibonacci levels are only good if we see a retracement from the trend. The trend in GLD has been down, and Fib levels are making new lows, and I'm saying watch for pullbacks. A pullback in a downtrend is if this were to move higher. And if we're trading around a low of, let's call it 159, the 38% pullback would take it up to 172. 50 would take it to 176.48. So when I say watch for the pullbacks, watch for the moves higher. Typically, when a market trends up or trends down for too long, you see quick, violent moves that go against the trend. That's what I'm looking for here with GLD. Another one we could look at would be silver. And the silver ETF is SLV. This is the iShares Silver Trust. Now, over the last 100 days, this has been moving sideways to up, as you can see it going from the as low as just below 21. Darknet signal we had took it from around 21.75 up to near 24.75 before dropping, then ultimately rising with the Reddit crowd, and we saw that big jump up and fall forward. We've pulled back since then, and what I'm looking for is the next potential darknet buy signal we look to have put in, perhaps, and support, looking at the support back in January and at the end of December of around $23. If we crack that, the next area we could be going to is the lows that occurred back in December of 2020, which put us down just above 20.5. But these are 2 areas you could go into if you're looking to trade GLD, SLV, gold and silver as an alternative asset. Asset number 2 on my list of alternative assets to own in 2021 is real estate and farmland. Now, those of you who know me pretty well know that I own real estate overseas. I own property in New Zealand. I have farmland in Colombia. I have farmland in Panama. And so I own a fair amount of land, not just here in the U.S. I have houses in the U.S., but I have houses and property overseas because that offers 2 levels of protection. First of all, you're in real estate, which is going up as the U.S. dollar falls. But the other thing is that these are in other countries, which means I also have a hedge in terms of that country's currency. All right? Whether it's in Colombia, whether it's in Panama, or whether it's in New Zealand in the 3 cases that I have. But what if you want to trade assets that are in real estate or farmland, or you want to buy and sell them in an equity account? I want to show you 2. First, in the real estate area, IYR, this is the Dow Jones U.S. Real Estate Index. This actually had a buy signal when we saw a buy with Darknet, which went from about 80 to around 85 in the course of 30 days. But since then, we've seen some pullbacks, and we're seeing this 82 as a nice area of support. We moved from 82 up to near 91 before recently pulling back. But this is an ETF that has options, that is tradable as a longer-term hold, as an alternative, but also it can be a short-term tradable asset as well. This is, again, IYR. Now, if you want to look into farmland, you want to look into commodities like agricultures, one that I actually like is DBC. DBC is the PowerShares Deutsche Bank's Commodity Index. And this is an index of several commodities, agricultural commodities. DBC has been on fire over the last 6 months as it's gone from 12.5 back in October before the election up to as high as most recent highs of $17.37. This is a big move up. If you take a look at just the 5-point move that's happened here, 5 points off of 12 put this at about 17.5 to 18% higher from just the lows that occurred at the end of October. Again, this is a hedge on the US dollar, but more in the form of not real estate, but in agricultural commodities. All right? And then finally, the 3. You're probably wondering, which currency is he talking about that's only been around for 13 years? Most of you already know what I'm talking about. And that currency is the digital currency, which is asset number 3 of the alternative assets that I own in 2021. This asset would be cryptocurrency. More importantly, Bitcoin. And Bitcoin continues to have that strength that moves it up. We're back again. You know, we've gone from, if you see this chart here, this is going back to the end of October too, when Bitcoin was trading below 15,000. Fast forward to after the election, we haven't seen 15,000. In fact, we haven't seen 20 since December. We haven't seen 25 since December. We haven't seen 30 since January. And so 30,000 was the support level that took us all the way out to the end of January before our Darknet signal came in and said, this is a buying opportunity. That went from the low 30s to around that 50, let's call it 51,000 before we saw the sell come in. Well, we just had a buy happened a couple of days ago, once again at the 50+ thousand area. So Bitcoin's one. And then if you are looking at a stock that trades with Bitcoin that is optional, it's been very volatile as of recent. And until recently, until this particular video and a webinar I did earlier on the same subject, we were talking about Riot Blockchain. Riot Blockchain is a company that mines Bitcoin. Riot Blockchain was on fire at a factor of 5 times that of Bitcoin when it was going up in February. It also has been on a factor of 5 times going down with Bitcoin as of recent. But the fact that it is sliced off 5 times the downside to what Bitcoin has done means that a lot of the speculators are out of Riot Blockchain. And I think very soon, Riot Blockchain will move more like cryptocurrency and not be as alpha as it has been and not have the beta of 5 to 1 as cryptocurrency has as well. So when looking at talking points, really 3 things come to mind. Number 1, market rotation is something that happens continuously. Right now it's in energy and banks. Those are the new tech. Also old tech like IBM has become more in vogue. But when I talk about alternatives, I'm talking about something that moves up or potentially moves higher when you see the US dollar moving lower. And I've mentioned 3 of my alternative assets. And once again, those are precious metals, real estate and farmland, and finally, digital currency, or what we like to call cryptocurrency. Finally, check with your own investment advisor as to what makes sense for you in this space, which we call alternative investments. Guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a like if you did over there. That helps support the channel. Click on the subscribe button and especially ding that bell if you want to get videos like this in the future. And I'll see you on the next one. Till then, have a great day. Bye now.